In a little rural community in Massachusetts, there is a 30-year-old housewife named Sarah Beers. She had been working with an English PhD. Nevertheless, she put her exam aside once she married Richard and had their daughter Lucy, who is now 5, buy in. At the moment, she spends her days bringing Lucy to the local park with 3 other women who they like gawking at from a distance. As their children are using the same swing set, Brad Adamson, a handsome and highly manufactured parent, invites his kid Aaron to the playground. Hey guys, welcome to our channel, Mystery Recaps. Today, we will recap a 2006 romance drama movie named Little Children. To know what happens later, keep on watching the video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The door is open for conversation between Brad and Sarah, enticing various females. In any event, the ladies promptly withdraw their children from the play area and break off contact with Sarah while they are on a songbird, hug and kiss. Sarah and Brad both struggle at home. At the moment, Brad can't seem to finish the last Massachusetts state law exam. Also, he has no ambition to work as a legal advisor. Whatever the case, Kathy, the spouse of his employer, encourages him to succeed. She creates stories for public television. Professionally, they continue to operate in the red, forcing them to recognize financial assistance from Kathy's mother. As Kathy is too preoccupied with her job and being a mother during the time when he should be studying for the last legal test, they are unable to have any sexual relations. Instead, Brad prefers to sit outside his house and watch kids skateboard while daydreaming about being young and carefree once more. One night, Brad was persuaded to join his rookie football team by a co-worker named Larry. Brad was the quarterback for his secondary school's football team. Former police officer Larry is the watchman, forced to retire a few years earlier after accidentally shooting a teenager who raided a business. He is now estranged from his partner and spends a lot of time pestering Ronnie McGarvey, a weird neighbor who was recently let out of jail after spending a large amount of time. Ronnie was imprisoned for approaching a juvenile and has a history of physically assaulting young children. Although Brad seldom tries to stop Larry from fulfilling his mission against Ronnie to drive in and leave the area, he feels incredibly unpleasant about it. Yet Sarah and Richard's relationship is sexless, just as Brad and Kathy's may be in this instance. The fact that he is reliant on sexual entertainment on the internet makes things worse. One day, she spots him dozing off in his office, and they begin to take separate naps. She buys a swimsuit that fits her perfectly and heads to the public swimming area. She knows she'll run into Brad there. Their children also become friends as they begin a deep but detached connection. Even if he doesn't think Sarah is particularly genuinely attractive, Brad is drawn to her benefits in him. Sarah being once desired physically by someone as conventionally handsome and masculine as Brad. Although a sudden rainfall forces them to forgo the pool, they eventually head back to Sarah's home. What do you think? Did they form a genuine connection? Or is it just their illusion? Let us know in the comments section. In a number of Shakespearean plays, Brad discovers a picture of himself that is unsuited to hold his desire for one another. When their children sleep higher up, they engage in horrible sexual activity in the cellar. As a result, their fundamental unfaithfulness also manifests physically. Ronnie currently resides with his mother Maid, who adopted him upon his release from prison. She has faith in it. His desire for children would go away if he could just meet the right woman. Aware of his psychological problems, Ronnie understands that this has little fascination for young children, but agrees to go out on the town Mage has planned for him with a woman from a different town, Sheila, while eating dinner at a neighboring cafe. Ronnie and Sheila seem to be getting along. Also, she discovers her own local demonic spirits. But the date ends severely when he asks her to halt near the street before jerking off and warning her not to reveal his whereabouts. Brad and Sarah become closer. He avoids taking the last legal exam so they can have a meaningful escape. Kathy is suspicious and suggests that Brad have Sarah, Richard, and Lucy over for dinner so that she may get to know them. Brad and Sarah's apparent closeness confirms her suspicion. In order to prevent Brad and Sarah from seeing each other any longer, Kathy also arranges for her mother to arrive for a protracted stay. But Kathy and her mother stay at home as Brad's football team plays its final game, believing that their reservations about Brad are unfounded. Sarah joins in and sheds a few tears when Brad scores the winning goal in the team's sole victory to yet. Afterwards, as Larry waits impatiently for bread at a nearby tavern, they celebrate their victory. On the field, Sarah and Brad make out. He acknowledges that the second is his happiest moment ever and asks Sarah to travel with him. She agrees, still angry with Brad for betraying him. Larry visits Ronnie's house and uses a bullhorn to taunt Ronnie in front of the neighbors. The neighbors appear and tell him to stop. May, though, turns to look at him angrily. She has a significant cardiovascular failure throughout. When Ronnie is taking a nap in the living room, Larry gets apprehended for attacking the battery and could be sent to the medical room. May meets her demise. Her last effort is to write a pleasant message to Ronnie. Be a good child. Ronnie feels angry. The report further said that when he gets home, he destroys a sizable portion of his mother's collection of Hummel dolls, then pulls out a butcher knife from the kitchen. The following evening, Sarah and Brad decided to go off together and agreed to meet at the same leisure area where they first met. Before taking care of him, Brad writes Kathy a message explaining why he is leaving her, tells Erin he values her, and then flees while she and her mother are still doing the dishes. In any event, the skate kids again distract him from his goal of reaching the leisure area. They convince him to try to improve himself and become in shape to fight the impulse to want to relive his childhood. Brad nonetheless. He crashes and knocks himself out to the point that, upon awakening, he asks the driver of the rescue truck to phone his wife Kathy to meet him at the emergency clinic. Fortunately, he never left the message for her, and he asks one of the skateboarders to throw it away on his behalf. Sarah brings Lucy to the recreation area in the interim. As Lucy briefly disappears, she is shocked to see Ronnie lurch enter the scene. Sarah is so afraid that she realizes leaving Richard for Brad would be a terrible mistake. She brings Lucy home, looks after her, and decides to stay. Larry feels bad for being the reason Meiji died. He finds Ronnie where Sarah left him in the recreation area and realizes how much he has to apologize to him. On the ground, he observes blood. Ronnie hurt himself and is now exhausting to chase. When Larry finds him, he rushes to the hospital emergency room. He is aware that Ronnie has done bad things in the past, but he also understands that Ronnie need not continue to do bad things. Similar to how Kathy meets Brad's rescue van at the trauma hospital. Entryways, they arrive at the clinic. So guys, that's it for today. Check out this video on the screen to watch this amazing movie recap. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell icon to never miss any exciting movie recaps.